I'm not pretending there's nothing to see here. I'm just stating what the FBI have come to the conclusion it was not a sex trafficking ring.
Well, nobody's seen that.
Which means Ghislaine is in jail for not trafficking to anybody. So she should be released right away.
She was found guilty.
Usually, when the elite get caught, they hire lawyers and stay quiet. But sometimes the mask slips and they decide to go on television and gaslight the entire human race. Today, we are looking at Lady Victoria Hervey's appearance on Piers Morgan Uncensored. What you are about to see isn't just a bad take, it is a psychiatric event. She attempts to rewrite the history of the Epstein case in real time, insulting the victims, the lawyers, and basic logic itself.
Anyway, the FBI have recently said this in the last 24 hours. It was not a sex trafficking operation. Yes.
Well, let me bring Spencer Cooven. Let me bring Spencer Cooven back on that, because you'll know better than anybody.
It's out there, and I will.
Spencer Cooven, apparently, none of this involves sex trafficking. Spencer Cooven.
There might have been girls that were abused. That is not the wording, but it was not a. It was not a sex trafficking ring.
Ms. Hervey.
So yeah. I just want to get the right information out there, because there's a lot of disinformation.
Well. Yeah, and most of it appears to be coming out of your mouth. I think at the end of the day, what we need to remember,
you're making money from this.
We have nearly hundreds of young girls under the age of 18 that were sexually abused and trafficked
because you are making money from this.
By Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Don't forget that we have one woman who's sitting in jail, convicted.
How much money did you make from this?
Convicted of sex trafficking. And at the end of the day, I think the problem we have is that we're giving voice to people like Miss Hervey.
I'm not Miss Hervey, I'm Lady Victoria, actually.
Oh, okay, Miss Hervey. For 20 years, people have been fighting. These young girls have been fighting to be heard, fighting to make sure the world knows what happened to them.
So how much money have you made from this?
And finally, the U.S. government is starting to release the documents that verify what these girls have been saying all along.
The FBI just verified it's not a sex trafficking ring, okay?
Okay, is this the same FBI that apparently is hiding additional documents and deleting names that are in those documents?
I don't know,
is it the same FBI that we're talking about?
That's what's happening. So yeah, it's out there. Even ABC News, which is, not always the most reliable.
Victoria, here's what I just find completely baffling. That even with this unbelievable document
they also spoke about Virginia.
No, hang on, let me finish.
Virginia lied.
Let me finish, please.
Huge.
Let me finish, please.
Yeah.
Let me finish. Even notwithstanding a 3 million document dump of files, which reveal the most horrific stuff going on with Epstein, with Ghislaine Maxwell, with others, you still just want to pretend there's nothing to see here. Why?
I'm not pretending there's nothing to see here. I'm just stating what the FBI have come to the conclusion it was not a sex trafficking ring.
Well, nobody's seen that.
Which means Ghislaine is in jail for not trafficking to anybody. So she should be released right away.
She was found guilty.
But there are no clients. There was no client list, Piers. You're not understanding it. I like you a lot.
You're not understanding she was convicted and sent to prison.
How much money did you make? Let that sink in. She is looking at Spencer Cooven, a man who has spent 20 years fighting for the victims of a pedophile ring, and she tries to frame him as the grifter. This is aristocratic brain rot in its final form. Lady Victoria is using what I call the client list paradox. Her argument is breathtakingly stupid. She claims that because the FBI hasn't publicly arrested the clients, that means there were no clients. And if there were no clients, then Ghislaine Maxwell must be innocent because she was trafficking to nobody. She is effectively saying, if my friends were guilty, they'd be in jail. They aren't in jail, so they must be innocent. It is the ultimate defense of a broken system. She views justice not as a moral imperative, but as a transaction she can argue her way out of. But then she pivots from offensive to insane.
Everything ended up in the Epstein files, all right? Like, I'm even in your file.
You're in what, sorry?
I'm in your Epstein file.
What Epstein file?
Well, you're in it, obviously, because you're not a loser.
Well, we're going to come to that ridiculous statement in a moment, but what are you referring to?
I'm referring to you being in the Epstein files, of course.
For what?
Just, you know, being at a drinks party, possibly with Ghislaine, just talking about you. You must have read it, surely.
Yeah, that's not in the files.
It is in the files.
No, that was from her deposition
no, it's
months
not.
ago.
I promise you.
No, it's not in. It's not in the files.
I saw it in the file. I've read your whole file.
You can literally search all 3 million documents in people's names. I'm not in it. The picture you're talking about, the picture.
You're in the Epstein files.
Do it after the show. Do it after the show. The only connection I've ever had to either of them, as I've said many times, is I met Ghislaine Maxwell for 5 minutes at a book launch in New York. She was then asked about that in her lengthy testimony, and she said under oath that was the only time she ever met me. I never met Epstein or anything else.
But just Google yourself in that government website. You come up quite a lot.
No, you're talking about other people talking about me. We're talking about the Epstein file dump that came on Friday.
But exactly. So you've come to my very point when I said if you're not mentioned, you're a loser, because people that are mentioned in it might not have even had affiliation with Jeffrey Epstein. They might never have met him. But the fact is they were mentioned possibly in an email that was sent to him. Hence, they ended up in the Epstein files. Do you get it now?
Well, I don't quite get the point you're making, but in relation to being a loser if you're not in them, do you understand how crass and stupid that looks to people when you say that?
It basically was meant as if you are a mover, if you were like a mover and a shaker in the like high echelons of society internationally, you were in those files. Hence, everybody from Ben Affleck to Matt Damon to Elton John to Meryl Streep, everybody is in those files.
And there it is, the status symbol defense. Lady Victoria argues that being in the Epstein files isn't a mark of shame, it's a badge of honor. She literally says, if you're not mentioned, you're a loser. This is the most revealing thing a socialite has ever said on television. She is admitting that in her world, morality doesn't matter. Only proximity to power matters. It doesn't matter if the party was for sex trafficking, it only matters that you are on the list to get in. Watch how she sprays machine gun fire at the end. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Elton John. She has no receipts. She has no proof. She is just naming famous people to normalize the horror. She thinks if she drags enough celebrities into the mud becomes fashionable. So what did we learn? We learn that there is a class of people who believe that if the police don't catch you, the crime didn't happen. We learn that they view victims' lawyers as greedy and child trafficking rings as exclusive social events that Piers Morgan wasn't cool enough to attend. She didn't defend her friends, she exposed them. Stay skeptical, stay loud. This is Tabloid.